Okay, I've got something for you. The new parts have been fitted to the car. The simulation numbers are good, so look forward to your feedback. Check out the details.
What is going on, guys? It is Tom and welcome back to a brand new video and a brand new episode of my F1 2017 career mode, and we're here for round number 9 of the season for the Austrian Grand Prix. And as you guys see on the screen right now, we've got 3 big upgrades fitted to the car in the engine. The first one we've ever done on the full cylinder with the engine upgrade, a brand new aerodynamics upgrade, and also a durability upgrade for the gearbox, which is the part that seems to wear out the most on my car. But 3 big upgrades which should overall help the consistency of the car and try and improve it in key areas. But you guys are absolutely begging for me in the comments to do an engine upgrade, and I thought, you know what, I had the resource points, so why not? So I listened to you guys and stuck on an engine upgrade, and also just continue on with the aero development, which I was doing anyway, and then just the gearbox one because I had a few spare resource points that I thought I'd invest in an upgrade that I need to really do, because I can't remember the last time I actually did all 6 races on a single gearbox. So that was very much a needed upgrade. But we're here in Austria, and track that in theory should suit our car, one that I'm looking forward to. Hopefully we can have a good race like last season, and hopefully have a good performance. So we're going to jump straight into the practice programs here, and I actually did these in practice 2 because basically in practice 1 there's a few wet conditions expected, so it was going to ruin my running. So I just basically skipped the practice 2 and jumped straight into it. But I must say thank you guys for the support on the series so far, and if you did miss the previous episode, then check out the card in the top right hand corner of your screen, and also the link down below in the description if you have missed any of the previous episodes, because this season's been a very up and down season, including a big result which we got in Canada, which I will never forget, and that was a rather special race which I do urge you guys to go check out. But as you can see, we're currently making our way through the practice programs now here in Austria, and straight off the bat the car feels absolutely fantastic around here. You can really notice the new engine upgrades and also the aero upgrades around here, and the setup also working very nicely. I have mentioned in previous episodes I've been getting on top of the setup situation because obviously thanks to the esports event I've sort of unlocked a bit of potential and a bit of time on this game, and I've found a couple of tenths of a second with pretty decent setup or 2. But that's very good for me, and also helps me, just improve in terms of my overall pace and performance. But as you see, we're coming towards the end of the practice programs here, and there's some pretty average scores, mostly green this time, not really many purples, especially the track acclimatization, which this track's a bit of an odd one. It's a little bit weird in many areas because the gates are very inconsistent. But as you can see, we're going to end off practice there, and we're now going to jump into the laptop where I'm going to switch out my components, because basically my number 2 engine components, I'm keeping that now as a practice sort of engine. So I'll run that in every practice session, and then switch out to the new engine components in 3, 4, 5 for qualifying and the race. I'm keeping 3 and 4 unused for now, and I'll use component 3 at Spa and component 4 at Monza, and then after that I'll basically just use the used components until the end of the season. Hopefully get to the end on those, and hopefully that'll work out alright for us. But as you can see, we're now here in Saturday for qualifying, and very overcast conditions here, which is going to reduce the track temperature and make conditions a little bit more tricky than practice. As you can see, our first lap in qualifying is pretty good actually. P4 getting ahead of our teammate Esteban Ocon, and a very good opening lap here in Austria qualifying. And we're now going to jump into my second and best lap of the session now, and we're going to run on board of it here. So as you can see, into turn 1, spot the 100-meter board and brake just after it down to 4th gear and pick up the apex at turn 1. I could have definitely attacked the apex slightly, a little bit more there, but we're going to use a little bit of slipstream off of Pascal Verline to help us up the hill as we now go into turn number 3, spot the 100-meter board just after the 100-meter board down to 2nd gear. I missed my apex ever so slightly there, which cost me a little bit of time there, but good traction on the exit of the corner, absolutely critical to get traction out of here, and you can gain a lot of time by getting it absolutely nailed on there as we now go into turn 4, 100-meter board once again down to 3rd gear, then short shift into 4th and try and get the traction on, which is also a very critical traction zone downhill, slightly on a slight bend as we now go into turn number 5, I believe, or turn 6 now. Shift down to 6th gear, and then into turn 7, trying to get a nice run through. We're currently up on our deltas. We go through turn 8, absolutely flat out, trying to follow the Ferrari in front of us here. And so far, we're a quarter of a second up on our best lap. As we now go into turn number 9 here, 6th gear corner, really use the curbs, be aggressive with them. And now into the final corner, really using all of the track available. Open up the DRS. It's been a very good final sector here. And the question is, where's the lap going to put us? P6. So not too bad that we managed to beat Daniel Ricciardo, which is a very good lap time there, just behind Max Verstappen. And At the end of the session, as you can see there, it's going to be pole position for Sebastian Vettel ahead of Lewis Hamilton, and Raikkonen third ahead of Bottas, and Verstappen just about edges me out there, but I beat my teammate who's in P9 there, so a very good qualifying performance from me, and one of the best sessions of the season, a really, really enjoyable one, and I managed to hook up my lap there to an absolute T, but overall that was the story of qualifying, and we're now going to move into Sunday for the race for round 9 for the Austrian Grand Prix. Right, so here we are then at race day at Austria for round number 9 of the season, and a very good qualifying yesterday in Saturday, and P6 on the grid, very impressive performance, and the car felt absolutely hooked up around it, the upgrades working an absolute treat, and if we just forget Baku even happened, we're back on the money, and exactly where it was back when we left off at Canada, so things are looking really good here, and we've got a very good starting position here alongside one of the Red Bulls, but as you can see looking at the race strategy here, a one-stop onto a soft compound tyre. I'm not sure if I'll stick with that or not, but I'll probably keep that in mind as a one-stop strategy option. I probably will go for that just because I want to go for the one-stop. There's not a lot of difference between the 1 and the 2, but I'd rather just be on track, to be honest. And also, you know, this car, if this was a Mercedes, then yeah, I'd go for the 2-stop, but it's a Force India, so I want to try and do the least amount of pit stops as possible and just try and keep the car on the track. Obviously, you always got to factor in a possibility of a safety car or whatnot, but overall, it's going to be a very simple one-stop race for me, and race conditions, as you can see there at the top, dry conditions throughout, so no, there shouldn't be anything like shocking or anything unexpected. Also, I'm a lap under fuel as we are pretty good on fuel around here. But other than that, I'm very much looking forward to this race, guys. So, without further ado, let's jump straight into it now for round 9 of the season at Austria. Right, third row of the grid, right next to Max Verstappen. Here we go. 5 red lights, lights out, and away we go. Very quick fifth light there. We've had a bit of a shaky start on the rear end here, but we're going to just cover the inside line as Ricciardo looks around my outsides. We're going to turn 1 4 wide with both Mercedes and both Ferraris here into the first corner. I've just taken a very nice line through there, and I've just tried to get up the inside of Bottas, but no way through. I'm up into third place here. Great start, just reacting to the Mercedes having a bit of contact here, but into turn 3 for the first time this race. Going to go around the outside of Valtteri. Can I get through? Not quite. Can I get the traction though on the exit? I've had a pretty good bit of traction there. We're going to go side by side with Bottas here. I'm going to squeeze him to the inside a little bit, try and frighten him off there. Can we get him on the brakes? He's going to be on my inside still. Can I go around the outside of turn 4? Do I have to grip Bottas on my inside? And not quite. He's managed to hold on to second place there. So Mercedes 1 too early on. Meanwhile, Ferrari's battling it out behind me here, but I feel encouraged by my pace around here. I think I can hold pace with these top guys. I feel like it's going to be a similar race to Canada. Obviously, winning the race is going to be pretty damn difficult, but in terms of just having a good race here today and competing, I feel like we've got the pace to do so. So let's try and settle into this now and find our rhythm. So far, so good, personal best, and I'm keeping up with the Bottas. Hamilton's got some pretty ridiculous pace. However, Raikkonen is looking to make the move on me here, but I'm getting some pretty good exits and just some good traction, which is not really allowing him to get close enough. Also, I'm running fairly standard 6.6 wings around here, so my straight line speed is pretty good also with the new engine upgrade, which is also helping out. So things are good so far, and I'm holding my own at the moment in P3. Oh, yellow flags. Issues for Vettel apparently, and is that him who's pulled over to the side of the racetrack? As if it has, that's a big blow for Ferrari in the championship. It looks like he hasn't retired from the race just yet, but he's gone wide at turn 3. So Vettel with big issues there, and one of the Ferraris is down. Meanwhile, Mercedes is still holding 1-2, so they'll be very happy with this. Also, Raikkonen is still trying to get past me here, but I've got some pretty good straight line speed still, and I'm holding my own here around Austria, and I'm matching my personal best lap times, and Bottas isn't really getting away from me that much. So I'm very impressed so far, and the car's just driving beautifully like it was in Canada. Oh, VSC, so I'm guessing something must have happened with Seb, because it's obviously triggered something, but no one's retired from the race, which is interesting. But either way, we're going to just have a little bit of fuel in this VSC period and then get back on our way. Okay, so the VSC's helped me out. I'm back within DRS of Bottas here, and I think I've got the pace to stay within DRS here and maybe make the pass on the fin here. So let's try and keep up with Valtteri for now and maybe line him up for a pass. Okay, so my pace isn't that bad, but Bottas seems to have all of a sudden realised that he's driving a Mercedes. Meanwhile, here comes Raikkonen, and I do feel like the AI have now turned up into rich mix, because everyone sort of unanimously has picked up the pace. I'm going to just squeeze Raikkonen out here on the outside, and Ocon is now up into 5th place, so my teammate getting a good job and getting a good move on there. So it could be some solid points for Force India today if we both bring our cars home in our respective positions here. Right, Bottas in the pit lane, so that might mean that he might be on a 2-stop strategy, which is rather interesting. Meanwhile, I'm staying out here. Raikkonen's really starting to give me the hurry up now, and my pace is becoming a little bit poor. I think Ocon was also slightly faster than me, but here comes Kimi to the inside. I'm going to squeeze him a little bit, but I think he's going to make the move on the brakes out the inside. I'm going to try and go around the outside of turn 3, but Kimi's just made the move up the inside. I'm going to try and match him on traction, but he's just a little bit too quick for me there. I think Raikkonen's made the move. He's also got DRS, so I'm just going to try and sit in his slipstream for now. Have a look up the inside, but another thing is going to happen. So let's just try and follow Kimi here and see what his pace is like. And let's see if we can try and stay within DRS and follow him, but he may stop this lap anyway. Yellow flag conditions behind, and oh no! Oh, not ideal. Ocon is out of the race. Safety car deployed. Not good at all. That's going to really hurt the team. And that is such a shame because we was running faster than the Red Bulls here today. So that is not ideal for us. But wow, that's a very disappointing retirement. And the team will be gutted with that one. Ocon was running so well this race. Okay, into the pit lane. Raikkonen stays out. I've got to respect the delta here, so I've got to be very careful not to speed. But that's very interesting that Kimi's actually stayed out because Lewis has actually come in. So there we go, solid pit entry there, just keeping to the speed limit and also not speeding on the delta, which is something that you can easily get penalised for. But onto the jack now, onto the soft compound tyres, and away we go. 2.3. I wasn't planning on to these tyres. I was going to try and go for the super softs, but the safety cars basically just give me the opportunity to get a free pit stop, so I might as well go for it. So here we go, we're going to rejoin in P9, it looks like, so just ahead of Kevin Magnussen on those worn soft tyres, and behind Palmer on used ultra soft. But the AI should be pitting soon. I don't know how long they're planning on staying out, but they should be pitting very soon. Right, safety car in this lap. From what I can see, Raikkonen is leading the restart here, but this is going to be very interesting to see if anyone comes in or if everyone's going to stay out for a little bit longer. It looks like everyone is going to stay out on these tyres for a little bit longer, so we're going to have the benefit of fresh rubber on this restart here. But we are on the soft compound tyres, which are the hardest of all the remaining tyres available here. But let's see what our pace is like, and let's try and make some moves here. But this is going to be a very interesting restart. Everyone's going to be holding each other up, and there's going to be loads of early braking involved, so we've got to be very careful and be ready for the moves if necessary. And that's what we're going to do now, is we try and make a move on Julian Palmer, who is in a Renault that's pretty damn quick in a straight line. And I'm going to get very close with the brakes. I just thought about a lunge there, but I'm going to wait for a little bit longer. The back end stepping at me slightly there, but Lewis making the moves. He's the net race leader, and I think I'm in a net P2 now. I don't know where Bottas is. He might be in that train in front of me. I just can't see. He's just too far away. But either way, it's looking like I'm pretty nailed on for a podium this race, because I've done my one and only stop this race. So the question is, can I get anything else other than third place? So we'll have to wait and see. But here we go, getting pretty close to Palmer now, and I've got a feel for these tyres, and I feel like I've hit the sweet spot on them now, so I can start to push and really use the confidence leading these tyres a little bit and try and make the moves here as we now get really close to Palmer. And I'm probably going to set him up for a move if we just navigate this little bit of traffic here on the pit entry, because guys are coming in for their first stops of the race. We're going to be very close to Palmer out of the final corner here. He's going to pick up the slipstream on Lance Stroll, which isn't ideal because he's actually going to pull away from me here. But let's just wait for the move into turn 3 by the look of it. If I can just get a good exit out of turn 1 here, squirt the traction on in 4th gear, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to crank up the rich mix, try and use the brand new engine upgrade and also the fresh component of power units here, try and make the move on the brakes. Can we make a double overtake here up the inside of a couple of cars and the fresh tyres up the inside of Stroll and Palmer? There we go, nice easy move, and we're up into 3rd place, and Bottas is on ultra soft tyres, so he's going to have to stop again. So right now we're in a net P2 here. Okay, so look who's just popped up in P4 there, Mr. Daniel Ricciardo on the super soft compound tyres. So he's going to be competition for the remainder of this race, I think. I don't think he's going to have to stop again, so we've got to keep an eye out for the Honey Badger. Personal best 109.3. I am now in rich mix, and Ricciardo is slowly catching. He just caught up about 2/10 in that last lap. He is pretty quick, and he probably will end up catching me, but I'm hoping the tyre battle and the tyre life in my tyres will hopefully help me basically beat him in the long run. But he's definitely looking pretty racy at the moment. Right, Bottas is in the pit lane, and he's coming for his final stop of the race onto a set of super soft compound tyres. And I set a personal best, keeping the gap to Ricciardo here and keeping him honest. So right now I'm in P2, a net P2, and this is going to be a fierce battle for the podium in these remaining 13 laps or so in this Austrian Grand Prix. I mean, I am assuming here that Ricciardo and Hamilton, both on supers, will go to the end, but what if they were to do one more stop, that would blow this race wide open, and that would give me a open goal to try and win this race. But still, let's not get too ahead of ourselves. That may well and probably won't happen, but it'd be nice if it did. But either way, Ricciardo, he's catching, but not that much. I'm about to run out of rich mix anyway. However, Ricciardo and I are pretty much exchanging lap times, and I know where he's pretty quick. He's pretty good in the middle sector, as you'd expect, and I can basically match him if I go slightly faster in the first and the third. So we're sort of exchanging lap times. We've got a yellow flag there I can see in the first sector, so will that trigger anything? We'll have to wait and see. But for now, we're going to now go back down the standard as we are out of rich mix here, and Verline out of the Austrian Grand Prix. It looks like no safety car is being triggered for it, so that's pretty good because that'll do me, because I don't want a safety car right now, as I'm very comfortable where I'm in this race. And there's a car in the pit lane. Could it be Lewis Hamilton? I think it might be. Is it? Yes, it is. Oh, wow. Okay, so does that mean Ricciardo's going to have to stop as well? Because if he does, I'm in the net race lead. Bottas is the man who's flying now with the 107s on the Mercedes, but could I win this race? Oh my days, could it happen again? Okay, so Ricciardo pits. I think I'm catching up to Vettel, who's going to be a lap car who's having some issues, but wow, this is going to be a very interesting final stint. Lewis now on them super softs. He's behind me, and Bottas close behind him. It's going to be forcing India versus two Mercedes in his last 10 laps of the Grand Prix. Hamilton's just behind me there down the road, so he's pretty damn close, but I'm going to give these guys a good old fight because I want the race win here. Okay, I've just had a bit of a scruffy lap here, but this could be a good opportunity for me to impress the Mercedes Works team, and who knows, maybe get a drive for next season, or at least get a contract offer. They are like the fourth or third most interested team in my services, so that could be a possible option for me. Here comes Lewis. He's going to make the move up the inside here. I'm going to squeeze him as much as I can. Here comes Bottas also with the ice assistance. I'm going to go around the outside of turn one. I run it in way too hot and way too wide. I'm going to lose the back end. Somehow though, I've still stayed ahead, but I'm going to have to give that position back, I think, to Lewis. So here he comes. He's going to go to the inside, but Bottas is coming through also, and there's going to be a fierce battle between the three of us here. Lewis goes up my inside at turn 3. I'm going to hang out on the outside though, but I just can't get the traction, being squeezed onto the curb here. Lewis with DRS wide open makes the move, retakes first place. I don't think I'm going to re-overtake him on the braking here unless I have an absolutely incredible brake zone, and that's not going to happen as I actually get a little bit crossed up in the braking there. Back end struggling slightly, but here comes Bottas now. He's literally darting all over the back of me, trying to spot a place to make a move here, but I'm holding firm on P2 for now. Lewis is already making his way down the road here, but let's try and defend from Valtteri for as long as we can, but I feel that's not going to be for very long. Also, Raikkonen, I've just realised, is right there in P4, so all of a sudden now I've just realised my podium's under threat as Bottas goes up my inside. I'm onto the outside sort of curbing here. We're going to go side by side with Bottas through the final corner. I'm going to pick up the DRS, whereas Bottas is not, and I'm going to try and pick up the toe. We've got Raikkonen on the inside. I'm going to go to the inside of Bottas here. 3 wide into turn 1, a bit hot on the brakes, but I pulled the nose back, and we're going to make the move into turn 2 and retake second place into turn 1, sorry. And that was a fierce little battle there. Bottas and Raikkonen are going to have a little battle there, the Finns, and hopefully I can try and pull away, as we've only got 6 laps to go in this Grand Prix, but I think the podium is going to be very hard to get now, as I've only just realised Raikkonen has just come out of nowhere this race, and he's going to be a major threat, as now Raikkonen is still going to make a pop on Bottas. By the look of it, they're going side by side. I'm going to try and use this to try and get a bit of a gap out to these guys, but I feel like my advantage isn't going to last for long now. Here comes Bottas. He's got a full head of steam on the inside line. I'm going to try and go very late on the brakes, very deep into turn 3 here. Bring the nose back in. Try and focus on the traction. Can we get it? Just about pick up the traction here. Bottas is going to have DRS, so I'm going to squeeze him as much as I can to the inside to try and compromise his line. Then pull out nice and wide. Run into a nice wide line into turn 4, sorry. Bottas though makes the move. I just snapped the back end on the exit there, and Bottas has made the move now. Kimi is on my inside there in the Ferrari. Can I go around the outside? Have I got enough tyres left? Kimi's on the same compound tyres as me, and Raikkonen has made the move here, so that's not ideal. Ricciardo's behind on ultras, but here we go. We're right on the back of Kimi here. I'm not going to let Raikkonen get away with this. I'm going to stay in rich mix. I'm going to try and follow him as much as I can through these final 2 corners, and maybe make the move with DRS as I get a little bit wide out of there. A little bit of a scruffy line. I'm going to try and stay with him, but I'm just losing the back end, and realistically I don't think I can compete with these guys. I'm going to try and stick with Kimi here, see what sort of run I get through turn 1, but I think a podium might have just been lost there, and it will look like a possible race win as all of a sudden in like 3-4 laps gone to a P4, and who knows, maybe a P5 if Ricciardo catches me on them ultra soft tyres here. So this race has really swung in every direction, but I'm very proud of how the car's performed and my performance so far. Oh, Hamilton, what? Hamilton's in the pit lane again. Okay, so we're back on for a podium, I think. Yeah, we're back on for a podium position now. Hamilton came in for another stop with only 3 laps to go, and Ricciardo's not catching me at a rate of knots, but now Bottas is on for the race win. Hamilton's going to have to charge with the field like an absolute maniac to recover the podium, but I think he might have just thrown this one away with that pit stop. I really don't know what Hamilton's done now, but still that's giving me 3rd place now, and with pretty much 2.5 laps left to go, can we bring it home? Ricciardo's catching me a second a lap, so this is going to be very tense in these last few closing stages. Okay, here comes Ricciardo. I'm going to let him have the outside line into turn 3. What am I like on the brakes into here? Have I got any tyres left? A little bit of first gear action just to try and get the nose in. But Ricciardo's just got so much grip left on those tyres, and he's comfortably made the move into P3 there. But I'm now down to P4, but still, I will take 4th place this race. I'm not going to complain. I just want to bring the car home now and avoid unnecessary battling and try and bring the points home. Okay, then here we go through the final couple of corners. Bottas picks up, I believe, his first win of the season here at Austria, thanks to his teammate handing it to him on a silver platter. I'm going to come home in P4. Very good result for me, and a very solid 12 points I will happily take back home, and a very good result starting from P6 on the grid with Kimi Raikkonen, I believe, in second ahead of Daniel Ricciardo rounding up the podium, and Verstappen actually finished in P5. So Lewis, I believe, only managing P6 after throwing away the race lead in the last 3 laps with a stupid pit stop. But still, Mercedes managed to get 25 points for one of their drivers, and they're still going to take a race home. Race win home. But overall, very good racing. I actually really enjoyed that one. For Austria, that was one of the most enjoyable races I've had in, as far as I remember, in an F1 game. That was a very, very good, fun, enjoyable race, that one, and just tense all round, always constantly battling, especially in those last 15 laps or so. That stint was absolutely mega, from leading to down to P5 and then up to P3 and then back down to P4. All kinds of things happening in that stint, and also the different tyre strategies and the whole, just as a whole, a great race with great strategy and great action and great racing, and tried my hardest to battle with those who are slightly out of my league. But yeah, we're now going to move into the final race results, drivers and constructors standings. Right, so looking at the final race results, Bottas wins it for Mercedes ahead of Kimi Raikkonen, and then Daniel Ricciardo rounds off the podium, and it's a finish 1-2 with myself in P4, Max Verstappen in P5, and Lewis Hamilton drops down to P6. Very disappointing race for him there. Nico Hülkenberg, a very solid P7 hit for him in the Renault team, with Lance Stroll, Magnussen and Massa rounding up the points scoring positions, with Julian Palmer just missing out. But in terms of retirement this race, both McLarens, my teammate Pascal Wehrlein, and also Sebastian Vettel having big issues this race. But overall, that's pretty damn interesting and a very good race, and one that I really, really enjoyed. And in terms of the driver standings, as you can see, we are holding P7 rather comfortably. Bottas overtakes Verstappen to make it a Mercedes 3-4 there, and Ocon's still trying to chase down Massa after that DNF. That's not doing him any favours whatsoever. But looking at the constructors, as you can see in the final part of the standings now, Ferrari lead the way by 91 points over Mercedes, and Red Bull not too far behind the Silver Arrows, with Force India comfortably holding P4, with Renault getting the jump on Toro Rosso. But that is it for Austria. We're now going to move into the final part of the video. And yeah, that's going to do it for this episode of Career Mode, guys. And I very much do appreciate you guys showing support on the Career Mode so far. And let's try and keep this going for as long as possible. But that was a very enjoyable episode, guys. And if you did enjoy the episode as much as I did, then please do smash the like button. Let's see if we can try and smash 300 likes on this episode. And also, anyone here, want to subscribe to my channel, and also check out these videos on screen right now if you haven't done so already. But thank you guys ever so much for watching. I'll see you on my next one very soon. Goodbye.